7:30, call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Mr. Rupp, how are you this morning? Welcome, board members. You received the consent agenda prior to the meeting with the agenda, the minutes, previous minutes, and financial statements. Is there any questions about any of that? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
You got a motion to approve?
Second.
A second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Public comment. You have no public comment today?
Public comment.
What in the world?
You were supposed to think of something.
How about any ghosts in the meeting room that would like to say anything? If not, we'll move on.
All right.
An update from Lana.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Prospect 922 named Campfire by the Department of Commerce. They sent a request for information out to communities. We followed up with a submission, and they were wanting an existing or a building that could be pretty readily built to suit. So we did respond, and they responded back to us with some additional questions about the building and just how that could be constructed and so forth. So we've resubmitted some additional information to them yesterday, and we'll see what we hear back from them. We do feel like we have a very strong proposal on this one.
So do we have an existing building?
No, it would require new construction. Yep.
Do we ever know how many people for those?
We don't. Most of them are large enough projects that it would be limited to very few communities that would be able to respond. But there are also multiple states receiving that request at the same time. So, yeah, it's not just Kansas communities vying for them. Prospect 622, this is the one of the agricultural projects. We've had some follow-up with them, but nothing definitive yet. Niagara, we do weekly meetings with this prospect now, answering questions and working through permitting questions and such. Randall Estates housing project on North 83. We're working through the RHID process on this project and don't have a development agreement from the county council yet for the developer to review. So that's really all we're waiting on to continue the process of moving forward with the RHID. The planning has been pretty well laid out and accomplished now and been through Planning Commission. Country Acres is also an RHID in the county, and we're waiting on some county information to move forward with it. The other housing projects we don't have many updates on. 321 is the Hunters Glen development, and we have been working with them on getting some additional information that they need for their USDA application. We may also be called in to testify, if you will, to an appeals process that he's going through with the USDA right now and some process changes they've made.
Will it jeopardize or have any influence on the existing project that they have going on?
No, their approvals are in for what they're doing right now. This is on the next phase, and there's just some challenges with how the USDA kind of tried to change the process midpoint through. And if they don't allow his application to continue under the rules they had in place when he started, then it would mean that he would have to start over in the process, which is one thing. The bigger challenge with that is that he's already paid for his studies and his traffic study, and they require those to be resubmitted, so recompleted even if they pull it from the process and put it back in. So it could cost him a pretty significant amount of money if he's not able to keep going down the process he was in. So he's working with Senator Moran's office in Washington, and got as far at least as to get an appeal to look at it and hopefully keep it moving forward.
Is there a time frame on the traffic study that needs to be done prior to the project? Is there a
The
certain
traffic
time
study's
frame?
been done.
Yes, is there a time
Yeah.
frame that,
For
prior-
USDA, there
yeah,
is.
there's
They
a-
would require it to start over.
Oh,
This-
wow.
All of the studies that he's had to do would
Wow.
have to start over.
Okay.
So that would be a real challenge.
So they
Yeah.
can't use the old trap?
They won't let him if they start the process over.
That's
Yeah.
a raw deal.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating, so hopefully we get that worked out. Project Daytona, this is the mixed-use development, and have been working with an architect out of Wichita on this, and we've had 2 review meetings on those, and we'll have another review meeting coming up with the developer on that one. So very excited about that project. Western Kansas Corridor, we did break ground on September 15th. Thank you for those who were there. I'll let Steve provide all the editorial comments about the weather that day. Outside of that, it's been very busy. We've had a few entrepreneurs who are working on either business startups or business expansions, and those are always fun to work with, but they're really time consuming. So we're thankful to have those moving along. We've been able to work with Downtown Vision with a few of their projects, and that's been really nice also. We did hold a childcare boot camp for Great Bend. They have accumulated a lot of funds through different sources, through Community Foundation and through community service tax credits. So they came out and did a boot camp. Shannon and I were able to condense everything into one day for them, and it went very well, I think. So, and another big month coming up. I will call your attention to Bob Kreitzer is leading efforts on kind of kickstarting some of the work-based learning, excuse me, that he's pulling away from his governor's task force. So we are holding a workforce meeting on October 12th from 11:30 to 2 at Garden City Community College, and we'll serve lunch there. Y'all are certainly welcome to attend.
Do we need to RSVP or anything?
No,
Okay.
you don't need to.
Where's that at?
It's upstairs in the administration building. Yep. That's all I have.
Thank you, Lana. Questions for Lana? Next, we have Mr. Cottrell. Good morning.
Okay, Lana said we responded to Project Campfire to the Department of Commerce. We had 2 other RFIs that we did not respond to because they were massive. One wanted like 1 million square foot and 1,500 employees, and we just a little short on people. Building was no problem.
Building and land was no problem at
Not a
all.
problem.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, as Lana said, the groundbreaking at Western Kansas Corridor was a very hot and very windy day. I think since the speakers were at the south and the group was to the north, the little amplification through the sound system, I think the people in Scott City probably heard everything. Sound carries real good on hot windy days. Legal counsel hopefully has wrapped up negotiations with the Rural Water District's attorney on the developer's agreement. And they'll probably call a special meeting next week or the week after, as their meetings are late in. We've already passed the September meeting, so. And still working on getting some easements for the sewer system. So. Lana mentioned the 2 RHIDs for Randall and Country Acres. Ponderosa Edition is in Southwind, and they're attempting to get a meeting, the initial meeting set up with city and county staff on that RHID. Mackenzie Phillips used to be with City's Neighborhood and Development Services, is the new County Development Coordinator. So we'll see how all that goes. Then we had a meeting with another property owner who has 2 sites inside of Garden City and 1 out in the county about some residential RHIDs. Have another follow-up meeting with them this afternoon. And continue working on some residential development concepts for property that would be annexed off to the northeast. So, doesn't sound like much, but it was a very busy one. Any questions?
Where's this Randall? You said on 83?
North 83.
It's just immediately south of North Shore Estates,
Okay.
the 80 acres right south of that,
16 lots.
plus his house.
What's the intersection of East Mary Street, the Country Acres edition? What's the, on East Mary and?
That's Gary Spikes.
Gotcha, okay, thank you.
Slowly.
What does the city have to do with the Ponderosa addition at Southwind?
City staff or Neighborhood Development Services has contract with the county and
Gotcha.
to provide planning services.
Okay, and to approve, okay. Thank you. Any questions for Steve? Mr. Scott Oss, you're up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For the GreaterGardenCity.com website, we had nearly 10,000 visits last month. Most viewed posts were the WKC groundbreaking, Crystal Apple semifinalists, fall cleanup, and the high school drama season announced. On Facebook, Greater Garden City's page had nearly 1,000 visits and nearly 2,000 interactions with those posts. The Journal had about 1,100 page visits, and I don't think Shannon had a post last month, but it's the Journal, so they have people who look in all the time. So, top posts for Facebook pages were WKC, the Fall Cleanup, and Crystal Apple. Twitter had about 4,200 people looked at tweets on Greater Garden City Twitter page, and about 1,100 then went and looked at our profile. Followers, we have 348 followers, which is up 9.
Those profile visits and tweet views, how are they compared to like previous months and?
Normally, tweet views probably have closer to 3,000. Profile visits jumped up this month, and I'm not sure why. Usually that's about 400 or 500.
Okay.
Probably because of WKC, that kind of pumped everything up this month, I think. It was the
Okay.
biggest across-the-board story.
So do they make comments on posts? Does anybody make comments on posts? Any interesting comments that would be of interest to us as a board?
I can start looking at that, but I think mostly it's either likes or shares
Okay.
that people do. Sometimes there's occasional comment. They might mention Greater Garden City in their reply.
Sure. Ready? Questions for Scott? We have none. Next, Mr. Shannon Dick. Thank you, Scott.
Good morning. I'll keep it really quick today. Just working on stuff getting ready. 7:30 on October 19th will be the State of the City address, and then right after that, right after that, is the regional conference that Wichita State is putting on, a regional economic conference that's going to be at the conference center at the zoo. So just starting to get pieces put together. When that's all done, I'll be giving that presentation also to the board. So you can come see it the first time around or just wait and see it here. But this is one of the data sets that's just recently pulled, which is 2021 retail sales. which is, I mean, it doesn't really look too surprising to you. You can definitely see that there's concentrations of retail sales. This is just straight up total retail sales, not retail sales by capita or anything like that. This is just in dollars. And I had something else to say with that, but we can kind of see where the larger cities are that have the sales. I would say that Ford County this year, 2021, which wasn't the case in 2020, did finally break into that middle blue. They're right at about $603 million in sales. So they moved up a step. We are about halfway, almost up into the 1 billion mark. We're getting pretty close to being $1 billion in our sales. Which is really good. Salina is just right up in that $1 billion.
Have we ever hit that $1 billion mark
No.
before?
We're up significantly. This has been our biggest year of sales ever. Or 2021 had been our biggest year of sales ever. If you look at what we have so far data collected for this year, we're up again another 10% or close. If we can hit another 15% growth year, or maybe 2 years of 10, we should be over by $1 billion. Which is a big number. We're on pace this year, not this last year, but we're on pace this year to actually be ahead of Riley County for sales in Finney County, which is, I think, one of those milestone kind of, if we can move past that. And then we're on track to actually not too far away from catching Salina. So if we just keep on growing the way we've been growing. So anyway, just one slide. This is one of many that will be at that thing that you'll see next month, and I'll just go through that whole presentation, whether you come to the economic conference thing or not. So save you $50.
When did you say the economic conference?
That is the 19th. That's the same day as the State of the City address for the chamber breakfast. October 19th. Chamber breakfast is at 7:30. Economic conference starts at 8. But they did tell me that they build in a 30-minute buffer. So even if you get there at 8:30, you won't miss anything for the economic conference.
So the economic conference goes through noon, through lunch?
Oh, do you remember what he had?
It was about 11, I think, when we got done last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually 2.5 hours at most.
And it's at the Clarion?
No, it's at the zoo.
Fennec
Zoo?
Center.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, the
thank
Fennec
you.
Center at the zoo. And it does require registration.
Okay.
So that's it that I have for this time. Much longer presentation next time, so I better leave so I keep that time for next time.
Thank you, Shannon. Any questions for Shannon before he sits down?
Too late.
You got to stand back up.
Hey, I do have one question. So
See?
it's the same presentation at both, so if
No, I will be doing more city-focused and specifically operational. So there will be some overlapping the economic stuff, but the state of the city will be more things about getting fire implements and stuff like that.
okay.
Working on the third fire station and stuff. And the other one that I'll do here will be more that economic side of things.
Sounds good.
Now I'm sitting down.
Thank you, Shannon. New business, November and December board meetings. It looks like November is, correct me if I'm wrong, the week of Thanksgiving, and normally
Yes.
falls on that Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, it's the Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving.
And I think in the past, we went ahead, unless we have any objection, to go ahead and have the meeting that week of Thanksgiving on Wednesday. If there's no objection of anyone, or...
Yeah, as long as we have a quorum available.
Yes. So if there's no objection, we'll probably just go ahead and schedule that meeting for November the 23rd, if you're all good with that. Those that are not here, I guess it's too bad that won't have a vote, but hopefully they'll be able to make it. So as long as we have a quorum, we'll be good. December meeting, do we have a date on that yet? We might as well go ahead and try to get that taken care of while we're having the discussion.
Right, so typically with that meeting, we end up moving it up 1
week.
week.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Just
we-
because of where it falls this year, it would fall on the 28th, so right in between Christmas and New Year. So we typically move that one up a week if everybody's available to do that, which would put it on the 21st.
That's the week prior to Christmas, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
You can leave here and go do your last-minute Christmas shopping if
Hey,
you'd
that's a
like.
great idea. Or just run down to the chamber and get some chamber bucks. Thoughts on December 21st? Anybody? Anything?
Well, there, excuse me, there is a BZA at 9 a.m. that day, but I think we should be fine.
Hey,
Finney
Board of
County
Zoning
Board of Zoning
Appeals.
Appeals.
okay, gotcha. So we want to schedule for the 21st, we good? Looks like it so far. Okay,
Okay.
December 21st it is. Thank you, folks. Any other new business, Lana?
No.
Okay. Got any old business to discuss? Anything from the past meetings or anything that we need to bring back up for discussion? Any questions? I do want to thank everybody that's have attended some of the meetings and ribbon breaking ceremonies, the governor's visit that we had. That went well. I think that with the exception of her being an hour late, it was okay. It was, I think, 110 degrees in the shade that day,
Felt like
but
it.
we were,
Should have let.
yeah. But it turned out okay. She was impressed with what we got going on. Hopefully I seen a newscast yesterday, I think, on housing and interest rates and those types of things. Is that going to have an impact on building and that kind of stuff? I'm sure things will probably start to slow down a little bit and not be near as busy as they have been, but hopefully we always step up to the plate when that kind of stuff happens and keep moving in that right direction for building houses. So apartments probably will continue. That will probably continue to get done. Lana, you got any comments on any of that?
We had a really good meeting on Friday afternoon with the apartment developers that we're working with, and we're working with another group that's also very interested in doing apartments here. So, yeah, I think we'll see some pretty significant moves forward by the end of the year, start of next year. The first group is hoping to start construction right after the first of the year, so very exciting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Any other old business anybody would like to bring up? I want to thank the board for all their dedication this last 9 months. This time is flying by, isn't it? Older we get, the faster it goes, I guess. So we have a need for executive session.
Yeah, just a brief one,
Okay.
15, 20 minutes. should be
All right.
fine.
Do I hear a motion to go into executive session?
That's so moved.
And we have a second from David. 15 minutes, we'll go into executive session, so we'll come out at, 8:14 or so? Yeah, so we'll just call it 8:15. So, good to go?